Hello, my name is Tellwn Penry. I'm a solitary pagan witch, an author, and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. As you can see today, I've got my glasses on, which means I'm going to read. What I thought I would read to you today is from a book I wrote some years back. And I wanted to read to you some of the things I write for Samhain, which is nearly upon us. We're in October as we record this. And, we have Samhain or Halloween approaching fast. So what does it mean to us? Well, for me, it always means that the veil is thinning out. And people say this, oh yes, the veil is thinning out. What does it mean? I believe that our world is not the only world. There are other worlds. And I believe that at certain times of year, this is one of them, April and May is the other side of the year, and I think that's the other time, the veil seems to thin out. And for me at least, if ever strange things are going to happen in my home, they always happen either now or on the run-up to Beltane, which is on May the 1st. And I think it's because the veil has thinned out. In other words, if you didn't want to call it a veil, you could say the wall, the curtain, anything. What separates us from these other worlds somehow thins out, and we get a glimpse of them, and perhaps they get a glimpse of us too. So that's basically what it means. What does it mean for us in terms of celebrating? Well, it means whatever we want. I mean, I do sort of, I look a bit aghast sometimes when people say, oh, I've carved 6 or 8 pumpkins now. Well, when I was a child, we didn't have pumpkins. We had sweets. If you managed to carve one sweet lantern, you were doing very, very well, because they are as hard as iron. And carving them out was not an easy task. But they were beautiful. They had a sort of manic charm all their own. And there are lots of reasons why we have these lanterns carved from root vegetables, which is something we tend to miss when we look at things like pumpkins, which grow above ground. Because of course Swedes and turnips, things like that, they grew under the ground. Well, we think of this time of year as a time to commemorate the dead. And of course the dead are normally buried underground. Sometimes people are cremated, but even then the ashes are often buried. But the idea is that by having a lantern, we illuminate a face, and we illuminate a face with a candlelight, with a light, a glowing light, and we put it into something which has come up from underground, the swede, the turnip. And of course, because we do that, we are in a way giving light, animating, if you like, the dead. That's the thinking behind it. It's not really just about flying through the air or... this is Little Aud. She's desperate to get in the picture. Aren't you, Audrey? Come on. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Oh, there we are. You see, the thing is, she's a very small basset hound, aren't you, Audrey? And she does find it awfully difficult to stand on her short little legs, don't you, darling? Yes. Yes, she said. Noah is not going to get all the fun, she said, with film. Anyway, this is the idea that certain things are not going to be, they're not going to be left dead at this time of year. They are going to be animated. That's the light, that's the face in the pumpkin, in the lantern. In the swede lantern in my case when I was a child. So that's what it means. Now on the run-up, when we say how do we celebrate, well, for me a lot of it is very reflective. I like to think upon the meaning of the time of year. I like to think upon how it has meaning for me, not just how it has meaning upon my particular path, but how it has meaning for me personally. So what I do most years, not every year, but most years, is I write little meditations, invocations, all sorts of things. And I thought I would read you 2 of them. This is one little meditation I wrote some years ago. The days are cold, the nights are hard, No, I'll start that again because I really made a mess of it. The days are cold, the nights are hard as coal and chill my very bones. The earth is stern and iron grim, and water turns to stones. The sky hurls frozen rain and wind that sinks tall ship and uproots tree. The fire in my heart burns bright. I will the light return to me. So that's one. Apologies for the bad start, but we all do it. Another one is that as we start to think of the year and we think of the sun god, if you like, this is the point, if you believe in a sun god and a dark lord or an oak king and a holly king, this is the point at which the god, if you like, of summer finally dies, shrinks down to nothing. And the winter or dark lord or holly king, he comes into his own. But of course, what happens to the goddess, whatever goddess we happen to follow, what happens to her? Where does she go? Does she age? Does she become young again? What happens? These are things that all used to bother me a lot. So, this one I wrote, and see if you like it. Goddess, you are ancient now, wise beyond wisdom, gentle beyond gentleness, powerful beyond anything I can ever imagine. Touch me with your love, for all of creation, and I shall be blessed. And once blessed by you, my spirit shall soar, so that I too may fly through the winter night across the face of the moon. There we are. I hope you enjoyed those. And as you can see, they didn't really rhyme, and I didn't read them very well. I think the thing is, I didn't write them really to be read aloud. They were meant to be absorbed internally. And this goes back again to what I was saying in another video. I'm not sure which way we're going to put them up on YouTube at the moment, but there is one about creativity where we are talking about how we become creative. These things are not for public performance. Well, that was, because I just read it now. But they weren't intended when I wrote them. I never knew I was going to be doing this. And they weren't intended as a public performance. They were intended as an inner exploration of what the season means to me. And this is something I will strongly stress again and again. Don't be afraid to explore your own creativity. Don't be afraid to paint your pictures. Don't be afraid to open your mind to write little lines. You don't have to write a whole poem. A line will do. Anything. Things to think about. Look at the sky and notice how it changes colour at this time of year, because it does. Do all these things and just open yourself up, if you like. And I don't tell you to open yourself up so that things are coming in, but so that things are leaving you or going out. You put behind your emotional baggage, and you let all this creativity out into the cosmos. Believe you me, it will do a huge amount of good. And I'll leave you with that thought for the moment. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. Goodbye.